Hello, I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. Welcome to Community Matters. It's summer in North Carolina, which means families are spending lots of time in the water. When many of us think of swimming, we think of fun, but it's important to remember the importance of swim safety. Grant Brown was 6 years old when he tragically drowned during a day camp program at a country club in Chapel Hill in 2013. Grant's father, Dr. Jeff Brown, is an assistant clinical professor in the Department of Psychiatry at the Harvard Medical School, lead psychologist for the Boston Marathon, and noted author. He's joining us today to tell us about his personal tragedy. And Doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me to be here.
No, it's an honor, and I'll just say I'm sorry. I'm sure you've heard that a bazillion times. I wish I could find words that help, but it's a parent's worst nightmare, is it not? To lose someone, a son, or in this case. Do you mind reliving that a little bit and tell us a little bit about Grant and what happened?
Love to talk about Grant any chance I get to. He was quite a character, clever, enjoyed humor, and loved being very determined in almost everything he did, including building Legos like most of your viewers, kids and grandchildren do. So we've all stepped on Legos and know how much they hurt. But Grant was always invested in so many different things, particularly helping other people. And that's what we're really trying to do with the tragedy that happened in 2013. Unfortunately, the day camp that he attended was not properly staffed when it came to lifeguarding expectations and didn't meet a national standard. What was really terrifying later for me to find out that North Carolina is missing necessary lifeguarding laws that would keep kids safer here in the state. So just like we taught Grant and wanted Grant to help others, we want to continue to help other people avoid going through this tragedy and actually calling on new legislation and no-brainer common sense legislation that gets more lifeguards around kids who are attending summer camps here in North Carolina.
It's that common sense, logical stuff, Doctor, that sometimes makes it the toughest to push through the legislators.
And I think one thing that's been very difficult in lifting up this banner and carrying it is getting people to consider the fact that something that they believe actually exists is not in place. I've yet to hear anybody talk about it being a bad idea to let kids have a lifeguard or have a lifeguard around kids when they're at a day camp. Until that happens, the law is saying, hey, it's okay to let kids get in the water at a camp and be unsupervised. And I don't think that's the message that anybody in North Carolina wants to be sending to kids.
Now, when did you first realize that this was the reason and the result of Grant's death?
You know, I don't know that I could actually pinpoint exactly when I figured that out. One of the things that was very perplexing early on was that information was actually withheld from us as parents. Another shocking piece of the process that we weren't even given a sheriff's report for over a year until we took Grant through probate in Massachusetts, then in North Carolina, then had to be involved in a legal process that would require a judge's subpoena of the record for us to even get any information about what happened to our son. 14 months is a long time to speculate what might have happened about your child's death.
It is. It seems incredibly unreasonable. What did you learn when you finally had an opportunity to see the records?
Well, we learned that we had done the things that we're asking parents to still do today, and that is to let a camp know that your child is not a good swimmer. We were assured that supervision would be in place, that things would be taken care of. In fact, the words, we'll keep an eye on him, we watch all of our campers, was what was told to us, only to get the notification a few hours later that 2 other children found him on the bottom of the 4-foot area of the pool. He struggled for 2.5 minutes, and I tried to conceptualize what that was like. What's it like to do that? Now, Grant was determined, and I think, you know, it's a very terrifying thing for me to try to identify with that. But as dad, I'm willing to do that because I want to understand what my child experienced. But I tried to identify with that, and I realized that it takes about 2.5 minutes to sing the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner. And we're calling on government, we're talking about legislation, but it's our national song that really measures that time that Grant, on surveillance, is struggling to stay above water, and then finally gave in and was underwater for about 3.5 minutes before 2 other children found him and alerted someone who was an untrained camp counselor who was only about 8 feet, 7 or 8 feet, we're told, from him while he was struggling. So again, no-brainer. This is kind of a slang term that we use, but it is very common sense. And the thing about it too, Bill, is that in circumstances that we're describing, any of us, if we know a child, then this issue applies to us directly.
We shouldn't have to lose a child to have to go through this. And as a parent myself, it's my worst nightmare. I can't imagine. So now you're dealing with the state legislature here in North Carolina, and what I picked up from what you just said is not so much that they're opposed as they're almost surprised that this doesn't already exist. So are you running into any roadblocks, or has it been overwhelmingly, hey, let's get this done? One
thing that I've noticed is that the interest in this issue is gaining, and legislators are becoming more interested in this because it is kind of that shock of, I can't believe that this is really not the case, that all kids aren't protected. You realize that you or I could set up a day camp here in North Carolina. We could lease any public pool. A public pool, by the way, is any pool that's not at a single family dwelling. And we could lease a pool, we could put posters up, advertise a camp for 6-year-olds, fill it up with 30 kiddos, and leave them unsupervised. And North Carolina law allows for that at this point.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
So it will change. It's just a matter of when it will change. There are also other states already who have taken this step and have implemented required lifeguarding laws because why? It's common sense. So this isn't rocket science. This will happen, and you'll find that the legislators who are attuned to good, healthy living, common sense living, who do have your interest in mind, they'll be behind this. You'll be hearing your legislators talk about this.
I hope so. I can't imagine anybody not being behind this. Stick around, because when we come back, we're talking more about what parents need to know to keep their children safe at the pool.